Today's Australian carried 4 other soldiers out of battle at the same time. Yes, that's right, at the same time. Today we're talking about Bill the Bastard, the horse that would not break. When Great Britain declared war on Germany in August of 1914, Australia offered 20,000 troops for immediate service in the AIF. With those men went something equally as important and just as vital, our horses. The army didn't care much about pedigree, they just needed animals that were healthy, strong and able to survive hardship. And that is where the Whaler came in. Bred here in Australia and named for its origins in New South Wales, the Whaler was a tough, resilient horse, able to travel huge distances on very little water and capable of carrying heavy loads. They usually stood between 14 and 16 hands and weighed around 500 kilograms. They came from all sorts of bloodlines, English thoroughbreds, draft horses, Welsh ponies, Timor ponies, and even just a touch of Brumby. When the first contingent of the AIF sailed from Albany on the 1st of November 1914, nearly 8,000 horses were on board those 38 transport ships, escorted by 4 naval cruisers. One of those horses would later become a legend, and his name was Bill. Bill was a fierce chestnut Whaler stallion, bigger than most others, standing at 17.1 hands and weighing 750 kilos. Some said he was unbreakable. And Bill's story begins at the Liverpool Army camp in Sydney at the Corral, where he was used to test the grit and horsemanship of applicants wishing to join the light horse. Then his time came and he was shipped off to war. Horses were loaded on the transports in 3 decks back then: the open top deck, the well-lit middle deck, and the dark, airless lower deck. The journey normally lasted between 5 to 6 weeks. Bill caused trouble before the convoy had even sailed. Refusing to go into the top deck or the lower deck, the ship's adjutant was close to leaving him behind altogether when Bill was finally led again to the middle deck, where the light and ventilation pleased him and was just right. He walked into the stall without a fuss. On that voyage, Bill had a minder. You might have heard of him before, Lieutenant Andrew Barton Patterson, commonly referred to as Banjo Patterson. Poet, writer, journalist, horseman to the core. Yeah, that Banjo Patterson. Patterson formed a bond over that long journey with Bill, an unusual connection that formed between the two, a quiet, mutual respect. What neither of them knew was that there was another man on that same ship who would change Bill's destiny, Lieutenant Michael Shanahan from Queensland. When the convoy reached Egypt, training began under the command of Harry Chevelle. Bill was amongst thousands of horses being readied for war, and trooper after trooper was bucked off and bruised. No one could ride Bill. Then in mid-April of 1915, the order came down, the AIF was deploying to Gallipoli. The light horse were to go in as infantry, and a small number of pack horses and mules would carry supplies and wounded. Bill's strength and the fact that no one could ride him meant that he was assigned to these pack horse duties. At Gallipoli, Bill worked relentlessly. He hauled loads up the steep tracks, carried wounded and fallen men down under fire, showing just as much courage as the soldiers in the trenches.